Hello and welcome back to the Concept Checkup. The point of Concept Checkup is to dive into the Warframe forums, look for a community-made Warframe concept, and talk about it. For the purpose of Concept Checkup, I will use my custom-built evaluating method known as AS. Without further ado, let's begin the checkup. For today's checkup we have Henya, the demon Warframe. Henya was created by Demonstar on the Warframe forums, who created the previously covered Furian Warframe concept. Henya is an interesting frame because much like Bayonetta, Henya uses her hair in conjunction with her abilities. She has low health, above average shields, above average armor, above average sprint speed, and a low energy capacity. If it weren't for the high armor and low energy Henya has, I'd think she was a glass cannon, but no. Henya is designed to be a melee-focused fighting frame, sort of like Atlas, but not filled with impact damage. Henya is acquired by her own quest, called The Other Side of the Mirror. If you wish to read the quest details, go to the link in the description below. Anyways, Henya's passive increases her movement and attack speed by 25% when a primary weapon is not equipped. The 25% buff to move and attack speed is nice, but it might not be worth the loss in damage output. I'd suggest raising the buff to a number that makes abandoning a primary weapon more considerable, such as 40%. Henya's first ability is Slicing Winds, which is both a held and tap ability. When tapped, Slicing Winds creates a knockback wave around Henya, sending enemies flying. When held, Slicing Winds also deals slash damage to enemies in range of the knockback wave. Slicing Winds deals increased damage and increases in range when Slicing Winds is held down longer, but at the cost of increased energy consumption. Lastly, Slicing Winds immobilizes Henya while she casts this. The knockback wave seems much like the improved version of Banshee's Sonic Boom, as the 360-degree knockback could easily clear rooms. The increasing radius and slash damage that comes from holding down Slicing Winds sounds like it could be exploited on infested defense missions, if paired with a power efficiency build and/or Trinity. However, given how Slicing Winds immobilizes Henya when active, it might only be effective when enemies are under CC, in which case, Slicing Winds might be a tricky skill to pull off without CC. Slicing Winds has the Vengeful Winds augment. When Henya kills a certain number of enemies with Slicing Winds, Vengeful Winds creates a sword at Henya's location, which can be picked up by allies. The sword replaces their current melee weapon for a set duration, and deals additional damage according to their melee weapon, depending on how much damage Slicing Winds has dealt. The sword cannot deal elemental damage, but it has a 100% slash proc chance. I won't sugarcoat it. Vengeful Winds is basically the supportive version of Exalted Blade, and there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that sounds cool. Henya's second ability is Possession, a toggle skill. Possession drains energy per second, but allows Henya to take control of a targeted enemy, gaining access to their movement, abilities, and firepower. Your squadmates can't kill your possessed target. You will have control over the targeted enemy until it dies or until you run out of energy or stop possession. You can manually leave a target by pressing possession again, which will deal a massive amount of damage. If leaving the target does not cause death, then the target is permanently blinded. Possession sounds like a great ability to use to temporarily avoid death if it works like Ivara's Navigator, but if possession makes your original body vulnerable to damage, you'd have to time it carefully to avoid accidental death. Possession has the Savior augment, which allows Henya to exit her body and attach her spirit to a target ally. The ally's shield and health are doubled, and the ally receives a 2 health per second aura. Henya does not control the ally, because while attached, Henya is able to turn in any direction and attack. If the ally dies, Henya immediately finishes possession and resumes normal function. Savior sounds like a really strong way to help a tank become tankier, or a squishy survive. It might either be one of the best augments in the game, or a really overpowered one, depending on if Henya's original body can be damaged while possession is active, and depending on if Savior's double shield and health bonuses apply to base stats or not. Henya's third ability is Mirror's Edge, another toggled skill. Upon activation, Mirror's Edge will drain energy per second and force Henya into melee with its own unique stance, much like Valkyrie's Hysteria. Henya will wield whatever melee weapon she has equipped and create an energy copy of it, meaning that if she has the Dextacra equipped, she will create 2 more to wield with her energy arms, making her have 4 swords total. The duplicated melee weapons have the exact same damage and status chance as her equipped melee weapons, and charge attacks can still be used while in Mirror's Edge. While cool on paper, Mirror's Edge just sounds like it would be very overpowered on any endgame melee weapon such as Nakana Prime or Sindo Prime. I like the sound of being able to quadruple wield swords, but if they all deal the exact same damage in status procs, it seems a little too much. I'd suggest making the duplicated weapons deal 50% less damage but have the same status chance, but really any damage decrease will work. Henya's fourth ability is Reflections. Upon activation, Henya spawns a spirit version of herself that wields 4 skanas. Henya can spawn multiple spirits, but each takes double the amount of energy before, so the first spirit takes 50 energy, the second takes 100 energy, etc. Each spirit moves 50% faster than Henya, and each spirit always deals /damage in addition to a random element. Whenever a spirit dies, Henya's health is decreased by 20% of her max health. If you have a decent amount of power efficiency, Reflections could easily spawn 4 or 5 spirits to fight for Henya, making defensive missions a hell of a lot easier. Reflections has the Soulful Spirit's Augment, which gives each spirit the ability to revive a fallen ally, but consumes the spirit in the process. After reviving the ally, the spirit dissipates, leaving behind a healing wave that restores 50% of all allies' health and shields. Soulful Spirits is a nice addition to Reflections, but I really wouldn't take it when better alternatives like Savior are available. Henya has plenty of damage to offer from her kit, but she has not much support for the squad, unless she takes along an augment. A Warframe should never be forced to take along an augment to help the team out, so Henya might require some minor changes to her abilities to benefit her squadmates in some way. She very obviously has the melee fighter theme in mind, which would make her an option among the ranks of Atlas and Excalibur, but both Atlas and Excalibur can support their team with their skills, because they're not 100% damage oriented like Henya is. With that in mind, here are Henya's scores. I'll say it again. Even though all the power Henya packs makes her great in terms of being a DPS frame, she has nothing to offer her team but damage. Henya feels like that kind of frame that would be a great addition to a squad if played by one person, but any more than 2 would result in a difficult mission. For my personal thoughts, Henya is basically the Tenno equivalent of Bayonetta, which I do not have a problem with. If anything, I welcome the idea of beating the shit out of Grenier with hair, so long as there are options to change helmet/hairstyles. So that's Henya's checkup. Tune in next time where I will perform a concept checkup on Theraph. Thank you for watching.